Good evening, Agenda Rights. It's Tuesday the 10th of December. I got it right. Bath time. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Mr. B. How are you?
I'm good. I think we got a couple of things to talk about that may well get people's blood boiling, but we'll see. Yabba, Crockett, how you doing?
You know, many people made appearances, like famous people made appearances in Miami Vice. There was Phil Collins, wasn't there? Sting was in there. Loads of fame. I mean, if you go and look at the list of people that appeared in Miami Vice, it's crazy. And I know just before we went on air, you were saying Grand Theft Auto. There's a sort of a game around that, isn't that? That sort of scene, is it? Grand Theft Auto, the video game.
Yeah, there's one called Miami Vice, which has
that's right. Oh yeah.
As your backdrop.
Yeah. You like it?
I do like it. I like sort of like, you know, pastel colours and palm trees and things. I think it's very nice.
Yeah.
It's Mr.
Thank you very much.
Sort of got a cross between sort of graffiti and an office.
Yeah, it's half and half. The office is this side, the graffiti is that side. Yeah.
You say off because like you have secret offices or secret hideaways. It's like because you got a sliding door or something there, Mr. B, haven't you? So I always picture that's just, you're away from the house. It's just like a little button you press and you slide the doors open, and you end up in the studio.
When her mouth starts, I wish I could just jump in there and go to fucking Narnia for a couple of hours. You know what I mean? Look, let's just say a couple of howdies. Bilal's saying the opposite of lack a notch. Actually, we need to find out what that is when Dora comes on, to be fair. That's a good point, Bilal. That's the most sensible thing you've said in a long time, other than those silly jokes you keep posting to yourself. Mr. Potus, big up everyone. I hope you're well. Good, Andrew, forever the positive one. He was going to believe it when we see it. What are you talking about, Andrew? We have no idea. You just said believe it when you see it. What are you talking about? Like we don't already know. Chat sport.
Can we change Andrew's name to Meldrew, not William?
I was thinking that as well. Victor.
Victor. We call him
great
Victor.
Great minds.
We just call him Victor from now on. I'm sure he won't mind. I'm sure he's gonna let us know if he does. Looks like Rashford's on his way to Barcelona. Okay, look,
I'm a prophet.
Okay, well, look, we'll talk about your prophecy, Moses, in a minute. But I hope you're doing well, man. Yes, and look, you are Miami Vice. Who else is in the house? Stephanie, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. Tyrone, you better call me. I hope you're doing well, man. Who else is in here? We deserve better. I'm not going to Narnia.
Big up, we deserve better.
That's a good one.
Victor Meldrew, that meant to be a dig. No, not at all. Victor Meldrew is the most positive. He's the most positive person we know. There you go. See,
exactly.
There you go. See, and profit or profit.
You decide. Well, hopefully we make some. We'll make profit if we sell him because he's a homegrown player. And I am prophetic after what I said yesterday about clubs wanting him.
One club.
I said PSG, but I didn't envisage
exactly.
Yeah.
I love the tribute to Prince. It was well worth interrupting my Bing Bang Theory binge. Best
Bing Bang
of all time. Bing, did I get that right? Bing Bang.
Bing
Theory.
Bang. Bing Bang Boom.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's look. You know what I meant.
That is a wild shout. The Bing Bang Theory is the best comedy of all time.
It's quite.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen it? There's a
couple. Never seen it.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's quite funny actually.
Really? What, like belly laugh funny or just
no, just every now and then you catch a little bit, but yeah, it was something watchable. It wasn't the be all and end all, but it was all right. So profit OMONDI. The hat one. You prophesized yesterday. We spoke about Rashford. We've been speaking about Rashford for a couple of years. I think I'm finally on that get rid of him boat. To be fair, obviously it's come out today that Ineos would have listened to offers for him. Begin to start of the season. It's now come out that he's genuinely up for sale. Thoughts? Andrew, no swearing, please. Sorry, Victor, no swearing, please. Just your thoughts on the whole thing now. And you've said Barcelona, as I didn't know anything about Barcelona until
yeah, nor did I. The question we were discussing yesterday, we talked about this with Tyrone was on yesterday, wasn't he? And we were saying who's going to take him? He's on 300 grand a week. That was the question we asked on the channel. Who's going to take him? We could only work out maybe PSG could afford his wages and sort of pay a good price for him. But it seems like maybe Barcelona are interested as well now. They've got a lovely left footer on the right hand side. It'd be nice to have a Rashford or someone to give them some balance on the left. I don't know who they've got. Rafinha, who's a left-footed player as well. So Rashford would be a good fit, I imagine, in Barcelona.
Would he?
I think so. Yeah, it'd be a good fit anywhere.
Is this? Yeah, but he's not a good fit at us, so it's not anywhere.
Yeah, because I think we're not a good fit for anybody right now. We're not, we're 13th in the league. It's an opportunity for clubs to say, let's go and snatch their best player now, or whoever's available, or the best available player. The best available player. Okay. Now, I was just sort of saved myself there, but yeah, I think, but the only clubs we felt that could be interested are big clubs in Europe, and Italian clubs aren't spending that big money. We mentioned Real Madrid. I don't think Real Madrid would take him, but Barcelona, if they've been thrown in as well, I'm quite happy about that because it would be good business to let him go now and get good money for him. Because BATHTIME gave us one option only yesterday in his observation of the whole situation, and he was just he made out that we need to sell maybe Garnacho or Kobe or one of these guys who are homegrown because he didn't believe we could sell Rashford. So this idea that Barcelona could be wanting him, even though they've had money issues over the years, would give us a lot of happiness and give us a window where we could spend some money. And Amorim would be pleased about that as well. So yeah, I'm all for it. If he can go to Barcelona, it'd be a great move for him. And we wish him well in the future. He had a good service at the club. I don't think he'd want to play for a Premiership club. And who wouldn't want to play for Barcelona? Upgrade.
Yeah, but where's this Barcelona stuff coming from? I mean, we know that POTUS is more reliable than Fabrizio Romano, but have we got any? Are we basing this off what POTUS has told us that Barcelona are interested?
I just saw it in the comments. Yeah,
he's definitely he's definitely up for sale, regardless of who's going to be coming in for him. I just wonder, would he be taking a pay cut? Is the team that takes him going to pay him his full money? I'm glad that it's come out. It's either going to make him take his finger out of his backside and do something, or he's going to carry on doing what he's doing, letting his value drop. But I just my positivity for Rashford has gone. I look at what I understand he scored the 2 goals. I think what's he on 3 for the season?
4.
Whatever he's on, 4 for the season. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not great. And if I suppose if the club can cash in, then we talk about the big sacrifice. Then maybe he's the necessity.
I don't understand why that was so funny. I don't know. Okay, so what we got with Rashford is we've got the Telegraph saying it, and we've got that Pletigol lad saying it. I don't know how reliable these two people are, but 2 different sources would kind of confirm to me that there is some truth in this. I wonder if that Pletigol man knows about it, because Bayern's a good place to park someone like Rashford. They've got Kane out there sort of doing well. I would think that it's a club that would appeal to Rashford. Like, it's one of the bigger ones in Europe. I think he'd quite enjoy it out there.
Well, I mean, they might have space. It looks like they're not going to be looks like there's not issues with Sane.
Yeah.
So maybe there is a space in the squad for him if Sane goes.
Yeah. But I mean, do you think he'd go to Bayern? I think are a pretty big club, aren't they? I think they're a massive club.
Of course they are. It's just whether he will want. See, it's hard. English players are very insular, aren't they? They don't really move out of the country.
I think that's changed.
As well. Well, let's hope so.
Tammy Abraham.
Maybe he'll. I mean, he's done
Conor
2 Italian clubs.
There's loads. There's lots.
I mean, he could talk to Sancho. He could talk to Sancho and talk about.
Scored a great goal tonight.
Bellingham as well. I mean, look. Hopefully, Sancho. Conor. Who did?
Bellingham scored a great goal tonight.
Who scored a great goal?
Which games did you watch?
I watched Atalanta against Real Madrid.
Yeah, I saw Mbappe's goal. Beautiful.
Yeah, that was a good goal.
So he's finding his form now.
Well, it's finding it in the injury room.
Yeah, he got injured after 35 minutes. Get by. Then maybe they should sign Rashford.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Who did you watch, Mr. B?
I was in between. The Villa game was the one that. You know what? I tell you, man. You see when you've got a proper manager, man. Like
all athletic players.
Yeah, they just want to blood. You can see the difference when players want to play for the manager, just in their demeanor, the aggression, the understanding of the system, the self-sacrifice on the pitch. I mean, bloody hell, man! They
win
3-2, 3-2 away from home.
Oh wow!
You know they
pretty dodgy goals, to be honest.
Goals are goals, in it. It's at the end of the day, you're just going to see 3-2. But
one was a Nana style keeping error, and the other one was a massive Ross Barkley deflection. But Villa should have won by that's the game that I watched. I was going to ask him, you know Rodgers, that guy with the yellow hair?
Morgan.
From Borough.
Morgan, yeah. From City.
I was looking at, can he pass a football? He looked brilliant at everything except for the final ball.
Yeah.
He's blonde version of Scott, isn't he?
Well, he was good. He played well.
No, he's a good player. To be fair, he's a good player. He scores goals. I'm not sure about his passing. To be fair, that was just a one-off today. But he's again. They find these players. These players have got. There's players in the academy, man. There's youth players out there. The managers just need to be brave enough to give them their legs. You know.
Saying that, Mr. B, I was watching Atalanta tonight, obviously, and Lookman is a player. He was at Charlton, went to Everton, then we went to Germany, and then now he's at Atalanta. And obviously, he scored a hat-trick in the Europa League final last year. He's got Nigerian caps now, and he scored against Real Madrid a really good goal between when near post against their great keeper. Their keeper's fantastic. Keeper. Courtois. He's a very good keeper, man. But yeah, he scored as well. And you're thinking, wow, look at the rise of this guy playing at Charlton, moved up, and he's just gone from strength to strength. And he's really a well-regarded player now in Europe. And he's someone people just bypass and not really taking a look at. But yeah, congratulations to him. He's done well.
Do you think he'd get in ahead of Rashford, in the Man United? Yeah. That's crazy, isn't it? Where you look at where they were.
Exactly.
Okay. I looked at some of Rashford's stats today, and they're unbelievable. Apart from 2 seasons, it's more than 20 goals and assists for 3 or 4 seasons in a row. He got 40 goals and assists in 1 season. And the drop off has just been outrageous, which is one of the things that was highlighted. He's distracted by off the field stuff now.
Right, and do you think that it's something that can be brought back into line, or do you think that it's just gone too far? I don't live in Manchester, but from the people who live in Manchester, he's out a lot.
Tate used to say that.
Yeah, he's on. He's out there partying. Don't get me wrong. In the 90s, Cole and York and the rest of them, Keno, they were out there doing their thing. But is it different because you're winning? and nobody then gives a shit, or do you have to be acting more professional? I mean, look, they earn their money. You're allowed to do what you want with your money, you know. But at the same time, there is a level of professionalism that maybe they should be having.
I think it's more about. I think it might be Rashford being unable to grow into a senior player / leader of the team. Like, the more pressure that's put on him, like he doesn't have broad shoulders, does he, Rashford? Like, he reacts badly to like any kind of setback and stuff. I'm not saying he's mentally weak or whatever, but like at Manchester United, to be a sort of captain and a senior player, you look at what's come before you, sort of like Cantona's and Robsons and Keanes and Nevilles and Scholes and so on. They're so mentally strong. Like, and I think that all the pressure that's on Rashford when it's good, and he's, you know, being an effective opposition leader in Parliament, and he's getting phone calls from Barack Obama and stuff, he's all fine with that, but he doesn't react well to the crowd kind of being on him. And not many people do, but I think it's got to the point where a move is probably in everyone's best interests. Like, we've tried for quite a long time to get Rashford back. Maybe he's never recovered from his injury, but you know, maybe the miss in the Euros has sort of affected him somehow. But we don't see a hungry player out there that is like completely committed and things. He always looks like he's got the weight of the world on his shoulder, and I think that it is probably for the best interests of everyone to move him to a different league, and you know, have a new start and give us some money.
Yeah, I mean, this Rashford thing. I mean, we always talk about him because I think deep down we expect more from him, more consistency. I've seen some data in the comments. I'm sure Bartham is going to just relay that data again about his goal and assists, or what he's contributed in his time, just which highlights inconsistency, and that's the main
87
thing.
goals in 287 league games.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Right.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But you know what the problem is? He got them so early, as you said, Bath time. The drop off has been dramatic, and I think that's probably where the kind of issue is. He hasn't.
Well, I don't know about that. It's like that. What you were saying there is really key, because you started this out by saying he's seen out in town. He's the king of Manchester. You know, like the king of New York with Christopher Walken, and he's like the king of Manchester. Yeah, he is that guy, and he's comfortable there. And he's not like you compared it to the era when there was loads of leaders and they were all going out and they're having a good time in the Hacienda and gigs and all these guys and Keane. They all used to go out for a drink, you know. But he's like the only one. There's not enough leaders around him, you know, to direct him. And left to his own devices, he's turned into this sort of like fashion guru, school dinner, charity guy, and someone who just goes out and gets a lot of attention. He probably loves it, going out and feeling like, yeah, I'm Rashford, walking into clubs and all this kind of thing, you know. And the stardom in Manchester, he's the king. He's got the key to the city. But to do your job, you got to be doing it on the pitch, not outside. You know, you might be winning on the streets, but you got to do it day to day on the pitch for Manchester United. And I don't think he's been consistent enough. And the only thing I can put that down to is outside distractions. There was a lot of talk about, he was told, like Beckham was as well, by Ferguson when he started dating Posh Spice and all this kind of thing. He was told, focus on your football. These too many outside distractions, getting irritating now. And I think that argument was put to him when he started doing his school dinner business, you know. John, focus back on your football now. Come on, let's not come away from that. And it's just not. I just continuously see Rashford out there doing stuff, fashion guru, all this kind of thing. I just think, and when he's not performing, we naturally you look at that and say, no, you need to come better. By the way, I mean, it's hard being a star. I've just seen footage of Floyd Mayweather in London with his bodyguards and all that kind of thing, getting rushed. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I saw.
I haven't seen that.
I see. Yeah. It's out there now. I haven't seen. I saw it. I didn't see the full video, but I heard the man say this.
That would never happen to Rashford.
So
I don't know. Rashford's like, sort of psychologically, Rashford is really, really interesting to me, like clinically, because he's obviously very low on extravision. Like, he's much more of an introvert than he is an extrovert. But yet he does so much kind of like peacocking behavior. Like, do you remember when he went to New York and he was like just completely decked out in very, very expensive diamonds and things like that for a basketball game? No, like, he's not going to the club after that game or anything. He's got to go and put that jewelry into a safe and things. You can't be walking around with like 2 or 3 million on you or whatever it was. But it seemed so out of character from the boy that we kind of knew who did school dinners and used to talk about, you know, that awful choice of having to take 2 buses from Piccadilly Gardens and stuff like that. And I do get the impression that, a bit like Yabba, that people around Rashford have encouraged him to be a certain way, and he's not that way. And that sort of like, not, I don't mean it literally like a split personality, but that kind of splitting, I think, is showing on the pitch, where he's not happy. And, you know, like, I don't want to sort of like, because he hasn't performed well and all these things, it doesn't mean, shut up, Andrew. It doesn't mean that he doesn't deserve to be happy.
Victor's at it again.
The thing is that I don't think that anyone can say in the last 2 seasons that Rashford has played anywhere near the level of his salary or like the reputation that he has. And we can't really afford to have passengers at the moment. So I think that like I would like to see Rashford move away, and a bit like Pogba or something, try and obviously not get banned for drugs, but try and find himself in a different league, because he's lost his way in England, and you don't end up like absolutely hammered in Belfast, like in a crap nightclub, like if you're focused and all these sort of things. So I think get him away and look at what happened to get him in that situation, and it's because the culture and the professionalism of the squad is at an absolute all-time low.
Very good.
Well, talking about old
big up, Sue.
Yes, welcome to the madness. I hope you're doing well, Suze. His replacement in we thought maybe the replacement, Garnacho. Obviously, he's another one.
Hang around, guys.
Oh boy,
he's another one in the news today. Bath time. I posted a stat in the group. I'll talk about that afterwards. But you know what? I'm going to leave this part to you, Bath time. Explain.
Well, look, a lot of this is circumstantial evidence. I'm sure you've all heard the Garnacho rumours. The long and the short of it is that Garnacho has a brother called Roberto, who is a very precocious social media boy who, you know, he streams bets on Twitch and things, and like he's quite gobby on social media, and it looks like, but it's not like can't prove it legally, but that is not the standard to what I hold Manchester United players at. The legal standard, I hold them at a moral standard. It looks like Garnacho has been deliberately leaking news about team sheets to his brother, and his brother has been passing it off to a fan page. And if this is true, Garnacho needs to be booted to Jupiter for doing this. It is. I genuinely think it's worse than what Rashford did, going and getting pissed and lying about it. Like he's damaging the club. Like he's damaging our potential chances by leaking team news up to a day early. It is, and once again, it's another absolute indication of the rock bottom professionalism and culture at the football club. Bruno should be bog washing him this evening if this is what he's been doing, just repeatedly dunking him in the toilets. Like it's, if Garnacho has done this, I mean, it's a sackable offence. It's the football equivalent of treason. I'm livid.
Yeah,
Jabba.
I agree. I mean, look.
Oh, you agree? Oh,
Yeah, I do agree. It's out of order. And how do you explain it? He's going to be straining for some explaining with this one, because it's not like the days of, with Gaza and all this thing when the media are bugging your phone, and then Gaza was falling out with his old mum. Wouldn't speak to his mum because he'd say something to his mum, and then it'd be leaked in the paper the next day. And he's telling his mum, they're bugging my phone like a schizophrenic, and really it turned out to be true, even though they never admitted it. He got paid off for that. He got some money for that some long time later. But we knew that it's the thing. You're not supposed to be leaking information, key information. It's all in house. And if it happens once, don't tell your brother. If you know what he's doing, don't tell your little childish brother, because there's no such thing as a secret. You can go and tell your wife. The wife would tell her mate, or something. But it would only go so far. But for his brother to be, getting the information, what he should be doing is like telling his best mate in school or something and keeping it low key like that. Not putting it out there and making bets and going online and doing that foolishness and not even trying to hide it. That's out of order. And I agree with Bath Time. What made me laugh about bog watch is that when you stick someone's head down the toilet.
yeah.
And then flush.
Yeah, that's good. I've heard that since Grange Hill. That who's it? Gripper used to do that. The big bully used to do that in Grange Hill. Gripper's stepson, I think his name was. He used to bog watch people. Wow. That's what a way to go. I would hate that to happen to me. But yeah, I don't know how you feel.
To you. You've always been big.
Yeah, but I have been bullied, teased, not bullied. Actually, I haven't been bullied. I'll tell a lie. I don't think I have.
I know you
I
haven't
think
been bullied.
not like that, not to that extent. But yeah, it's out of order. I think Garnacho's his responsibility. Once this comes out, he must know about it. He needs to sort out, have a word with his brother, and stop telling him stupidness. It's crazy out here. This is just ridiculous.
I mean, it's what I hate about it is that it's a conspiracy by the pair of them to boost the brothers' clout. It is. I mean, we know. I mean, I know Garnacho is a father, and he's essentially married. I think, he definitely lives with the mother of his child, and I've seen pictures of them putting up a Christmas tree, and it's all lovely stuff. But he's got to understand that you can't do this sort of thing. And I mean, I hope that Tom Heaton and Johnny Evans are the Bogwash brothers, and they get him tomorrow. But I cannot, genuinely, I cannot believe how immature it is to try and to try and boost your brother on social media at the cost of giving away our lineup to opposition managers and to players. It is absolutely outrageous. If he has done this, it does look like he's done it from all the things. I do. You're right, Andrew. And also thank you for putting 24 excuses in chat. That's really cool to anyone that's coming to watch the channel. Seeing you saying that racism is an excuse. Great one. But I mean, Mr. B, let's say that you're managing Manchester United. What are your steps about how do you address this?
The thing is, you need to find out, one, if it's true. I mean, there's ways of finding out. It's not going to be too hard for them to do what they need to do to find out. I have no idea why he would be wanting to boost. I understand brothers. Maybe it's a generational thing, and Twitter and all of this social media shit. But it makes absolutely no sense to me why the perks of being Garnacho's brother, I'm sure, far outweigh the perks of being a YouTuber or being what's the word?
Influencer?
An influencer. Whatever money he thinks he's going to be earning as an influencer, I'm sure Garnacho's touching him with a lot more as his younger brother. So I think those benefits would far more outweigh the fact that he's a secret tweeter. I hope it's not true. But if it is, then yeah, he may well be one of the sacrifices. I mean, one of the stats that I saw today was that he's the worst dribbler in the Premier League. Listen, no, it's I've got it here. Hold on. Right. Garnacho, 37 dribbles attempted, 8 dribbles completed. Garnacho has the worst dribble success rate, 21.6 in the Premier League this season, with anybody who's attempted over 30 dribbles. We see that every week. So I'm not gonna say it's not true. I think that probably is true, to be fair. But
just quick question on that. Like, I would always say, if someone said what's someone's best attribute, I say Maguire's good at heading, Garnacho's good at dribbling. I would naturally say that. So I'm surprised that the stats so low. And obviously we're watching all the games. I mean, all you agendaites, all of us, we watch every single game. I'm really surprised that it is that low, and he needs to sort it out, be a bit more effective. There's no excuse. He's the main dribbler. That's his skill. That's his what he's effective at. He's supposed to be. So I'm really surprised by that. And if it is true, he needs to have better end product with his dribbles.
Yeah, but we've been saying that. So what? As a club, with a player who is in the top 10 bath time for the
golden boy list,
Eddie
Murphy.
What do United do? Because if you can't, I'm not saying you can't train him to dribble. Obviously, you can coach him to become a better player. Would this be somebody then that has to go as well, or should be leaving? Forget about whether it's the social media part of it, or the fact that his performances on the pitch haven't been great. You know, let's be honest.
Scored a lot of goals.
He's missed a lot more, and
That's
he's wasted a lot more passes. You know, he could easily be on double figures. I just look at it, if there's a player in that position, as you said, he's the entry to the box bath time, as you always say.
Yeah.
If you have a player with higher IQ doing Garnacho's job, wouldn't it increase the goal output of the football team?
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is that he's got high potential. From what we've seen, he's effective in the Premier League. Like, most of us would say that if we had a better left winger, such as like Rashford in form, Garnacho would be one of the most deadly players coming off the bench. I saw him at Fulham maybe 2 years ago, come off the bench and score the winner. He's definitely got the attributes to be like a top player. It's the thing is that you got to forgive young players for a lot of stuff. Like, you know, I mean, Giggs was a bit of a nightmare sometimes in his career because he would over elaborate a little bit too much. It was like after the treble season, Giggs didn't play well for 2 or 3 years when he was sorting his hammy out and stuff, and then, you know, he learned and he developed into one of the greatest, you know, players that have been produced on these shores. And with a lot of wingers, like Ronaldo was another one where he was incredibly frustrating for 2 or 3 years. Nani was frustrating as well. You've got to accept that wingers, by their nature, are going to be frustrating because they play on the line where it's always 50-50. Either they lose the ball or they go past their man. But for me, it's more about Garnacho's attitude, and so on. Like, I expect Kobe Mainu to occasionally do something stupid, like, was it West Ham where he got pinched and Kudos of Bowen scored?
Yeah,
like,
it was one of his early games, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Those are the kind of stuff you expect, like, young players to make because they don't have like the experience. But I mean, like, earlier on, I asked you like what you would do as a manager, and you gave me a series of stats instead of telling me how you would handle Garnacho. But what would you do in both cases? Like, make him better on the pitch and to make him better off the pitch.
To make him better on the pitch, I don't think he should be starting. I think he should be learning his role, and if he doesn't follow instructions, he doesn't play. He doesn't play. it's simple. I if you as a manager have a style or a system that you want to play and the player can't play it, don't play him. Don't play him. Don't start him. The only issue is there's maybe nobody else to start ahead of Garnacho in the team at the moment. You know, it would have been nice to have had somebody else to start, and then when they get tired or they need a rest or whatever, you've got Garnacho coming on. But Garnacho played 30, how much games did he play last year? 30 odd games.
He played 30. He featured in 37 out of 38 or something like that in the Premier League.
I mean, that's ridiculous for a 19-year-old. You know, that is absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, he probably felt or feels that he's Johnny Big Balls now. You know, he's played all of those games in the Premier League. I said, I'm just saying that. I don't know him personally, so this is just my opinion. You know,
I think, yeah, it's important as a young player. There's got to be some room for growth and improvement because he's not the finished article yet. We were talking a few weeks ago about he's the most valuable player with the highest ceiling. And we felt him and Kobe, if we were asked a few weeks ago, who's got the highest ceiling at the club regarding players? And I think Kobe and Garnacho are the two players most talked about as that. Because so it shows there's room for improvement. So rather than sort of putting the boots on him now, we could say, all right, where he needs to improve. So judging by the games that I watched, wasn't, you know, I think his dribbles need to be done in certain areas. He should, you know, not he considered not giving the ball away. Not think about stats all the time, but just be dangerous in the final third. When you're in one-on-one situations, go at your man, then do it. And I don't mind if you don't pull it off then. But if you're running into traffic or if you're not dribbling in the right time or you're giving the ball away stupidly in build-up and that kind of thing, that's where you need to improve. And that decision-making comes, you know, with time and playing consistently. And he has been playing consistently. This thing, he was a bench player at one point, and that changed under Ten Hag, and he became a first-team starter. So now he's a first-team starter. We want to see some development from him, and maybe we're not seeing it at the moment. But I would still give him time based on his age, and I just would, under this manager now, I think the manager could probably talk to him and get the best out of him about his decision-making and to improve that. We want to see him, like you said, Mr. B, he gets a lot of chances because of his pace, because of his dribbling. If he is running at defenders, it's a nightmare for defenders. I think we don't want to take that away from his game, but his decision-making has to be key. It has to be improved there. So sometimes don't shoot. His shooting's not too great, to be honest. You know, I've seen him cut in and shoot. It's a bit weak. But so don't shoot. Just try to provide. Try to set people up. Try little link-ups. Use the ball rather than dribbling a lot of time. A lot of running off the ball as well. Try different things, and it's when a manager comes in to try help him improve.
Yeah, I agree, Yabba, because I think that like these stats that Mr. B have shown us, the club will know these stats like without question. And against Arsenal, it was really apparent that Garnacho wasn't playing how he used to play. Like he was playing much more within himself. He wasn't trying to take anyone on. He wasn't even really sort of making runs in behind. And for me, my issue with Garnacho is he's incredibly unbalanced as a football player. Like you think of, like even at the weekend where Rasmus scored that tap in after Garnacho missed, he just his body shape, the way he addresses the football when he shoots and things, he always strikes me as a player that is off balance because he does everything too fast. He doesn't have pausa. Like you look at Ahmad will draw contact and then try and accelerate away. Garnacho is more of your Dan James style winger, where he's just going to run and let's see what happens. But I saw something that we'd serve better. Something came up about how both Ten Hag and Bruno have commented on Garnacho's attitude.
Yeah,
is that true?
Yeah,
I can't recall that.
Yeah. Last season, Bruno was talking about Garnacho having to what was he talking? I don't know the Eric Ten Hag one, but the Bruno one, there was definitely, and it wasn't just once, it was a couple of games. He was talking about his attitude, not his performance level, just his attitude. And I thought, okay, captain maybe saying something to make him, you know, maybe just putting it out there so that he understands. So maybe that was the start of it.
Yeah, I mean, it screams to me that we've got to get better characters, like into the squad, like more. I know Johnny Evans nicked a taxi, but he'll be a
But he'll be
professional.
gone. Yeah, but he'll be gone.
Exactly, and Tom Heaton as well, I think, is probably quite a good character around the club, like because it's like the thing is that when you look at the unprofessional players that we've had, like Sancho, like Pogba, like Rashford, and now like Garnacho, Bruno's been the captain for all of them. And it definitely, and like, do you remember Matic as well, talking about Commander Matic? It really feels like the players have kind of got out of control, and that there's no one there to sort of like bring them together and instill discipline. And I know Yabba always thinks that's the job of the manager, when I think that is that the dressing room should be run by players. Like the manager shouldn't really be allowed in there except for the match. It's like that's where the players sort out all their politics and things like that. And I don't want to sort of make this about like Bruno or Maguire, like about their sort of poor leadership and things, but there is a pattern of like players being unprofessional, and this one with Garnacho is genuinely, I think it's up there with the time Pogba said he wanted to leave before a vital Champions League game, like, and Sancho obviously Sancho's is slightly more understandable, but it was still the behaviour of a child, and I really worry that we've got great talents in Kobe, Yoro, Garnacho, that they're all going to go, that they might all go the wrong way because there's not enough like role models about. And if Ten Hag and Bruno have been slaughtering, Garnacho in interviews or bringing it up and stuff, it hasn't made a lick of difference. So what do we do with him?
Oh, well, look, I said Amarin's here now, isn't it? Amarin's only had him for 4 months. You've got to believe if all of the hype is right. Let's get it right. When Amarin came in, everybody laughed when Ten Hag stayed. When he got sacked, they laughed. This is opposition fans. But when we got Amarin, there was no laughter from any fan base. There was no laughter because they understand what we have. It's just whether or not the club give him the tools to help him achieve what he wants to be or what he can be. I think that's more. I'm really positive about the appointment. I'm positive about the fact that he's gone in there and he wants to change. And we're not finished. I don't think. Bath time. You were saying 6th and 10th, yeah?
Yeah, between 6th and 10th.
I don't think we get anywhere near 6. I'm more looking at 8 and 12. But okay. I would accept that. It's going to be painful, but I would accept that if next season he is able to, 1, have his philosophy embedded, and 2, get rid of the players that he doesn't want. Come the summer, I think he has to be backed. We're going to have to back him with no money. Which means
that's the issue, isn't it?
Yeah, which means that it has to be Garnacho and Rashford. Some money has to be coming in from somewhere. So make these deals and make these free transfers or whatever they're doing, make them work. Because
if we could get rid of Garnacho and Rashford in January for I don't know, let's say 90 million, the pair of them. Right,
and we could spend it, in January, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, but we don't spend that money until the summer.
Do you think
that? I would, in a heartbeat.
Do we have? Yeah, you know what? I would, because then that's guaranteed money for the summer, and we're not going to risk. We'll miss Rashford's pace, yes, but there's not much more we're going to miss for Rashford in game. Garnacho, again, we're going to miss his pace, but then, maybe by that time they've decided that they're going to play Ahmad in the position that we're dying to see him playing. You
It's
know,
bloody
and
interesting to see Bruno without a fast player on the wing. Like, does that stop the Hollywood Bulls and stuff?
yeah, but it depends on what Amarin wants to play, doesn't it? He doesn't normally play two slow tens. It's normally somebody with a bit of pace, the slower one, and then the striker in it. So it depends on where Amarin wants to go. But I just feel that the team, whatever team he's got at the moment, is not the team that he feels is maybe his best team. And
Well, I think what my fear is that like they're going to push. They're going to do. I think they're going to do everything to push Rashford out the door this January. Like the two reports suggest to me that like his time is done. But I'm a little bit worried about this 64 million for Victor Osimhen.
oh, we were going to talk about this yesterday, and we
Yeah,
ended up missing it. I mean, look, the thing with Osimhen is we know he's a goal scorer. My son was saying to me that he misses a whole load of chances. We don't create enough for him to be missing. we need a clinical striker. So after I think, me personally, if we could get somebody out and get him in January, because I know there's a break clause in his contract, with that loan with
yeah.
Galatasaray. If we could get it done, I have no idea how it would work. I have no idea how they would make the figures work. I would take him in a heartbeat.
Would you?
Yes, I would. I would take him in a heartbeat, bro.
I think you get Osimhen in when conversion is the problem. Like where putting the chances away is the issue. And obviously Xerxes and Rasmus, like, you know, they miss bloody everything all the time. But we don't really give them a lot of chances. I think that money has got to be spent. I think it would be spent so much better in a central position or a wing back position. If we go for Osimhen, I feel that we're repeating the same errors of the past and trying to get one person to fix us.
Yeah.
Yabba.
Yeah, I heard you bring it up yesterday about Osimhen. I would be happy about it. The way he's left Napoli, he was their main kingpin striker, and then suddenly they've let him go. That speaks volumes about off the field stuff or issues with his personality, character, or something that's making life difficult for him, because he was doing so well there, and he was highly touted. Everyone in this show, for example, all the people watching, you say we should get Osimhen. We should get Osimhen. That he was because he was the main guy in Europe who was scoring goals, and he was young. He's still quite young. I think he's only about 24, 25, Nigerian striker. But I've had a good look at him, and I don't think he would be a good signing for us at all, even if it's for half the money at 64 million, which he's been touted at when he was at Napoli. He comes with issues. I don't think he's proven. I think he could be disastrous coming to our club. I would bypass that. And this is what I'm saying. It's the lack of sporting director. Apparently, we're not going to go forward with a sporting director. It's been confirmed now. But if we're not going forward with a sporting director and we go in for Osimhen, I would say get a sporting director, because even me, you, and BATHTIME can all see that there's some issues with this guy, and no one else is going in for him. He was, everyone wanted him at one point, but something's gone wrong that we don't know about. But no one's touching him with a barge pole. Anyone who goes to Turkey at that age, there's something wrong. You don't go to Turkey unless you're not getting game. You're not a good player. And in your prime years, for him to go to Turkey on loan from the Serie A and Napoli, a team that are pushing for the title most years now, I think there's something seriously wrong, and we should avoid him.
So if he's unhappy and he feels that he can't perform, he should have stayed where he was. Yeah,
where
he should have stayed at Napoli. Him being unhappy at Napoli.
These scenarios you put, I don't think I can answer them because it's all speculation. Or I'm just looking at I'm just looking at stats. You're at Napoli. You're 24 years old.
Yeah.
You're one of the biggest stars, Africa's biggest star, Nigerian superstar. Everyone wants you. You're being touted at 120 million, all this kind of thing. And suddenly they send you on loan. They're like, nah, F the money,
Yeah, but
just go on loan. You don't even want you here anymore. That speaks volumes to me, Mr. B.
Or
Yeah,
was it the fact
hang
that
on.
he was God?
What wasn't it about two things? Well, wasn't it that Napoli wanted that money for him because he was highly valued? It was highly valued, like 100 million and all this sort of stuff. But also, I think there was quite a lot of like he felt that he had been like racially disrespected or something during the when they won the title. Like Kvaratskhelia, maybe that's how you say it, was the one that got all the praise and stuff like that when he was leading the line, and it led to a breakdown in relations. Like I'm not disagreeing with you that it is crazy to end up in Turkey or Saudi Arabia at that kind of age. I mean, even for me, it was crazy. Neymar went to Saudi Arabia, but I kind of to a degree agree with you on the character of the player, but the quality of the player, he's very good. I mean, like he's one of the like. There's not a lot of good strikers about in the world at the moment, and he's definitely one of them. Like he's a good penalty box striker.
But
But I'm not paying. I mean, how like you say you take him in a heartbeat. What is the maximum amount of money you'd pay him?
pay him
Yeah,
Wages.
wages. What's the maximum you would give him, Mr. B, on wages?
Oh God, we can't be paying anybody more than 200, 250.
He's not signing for 250.
But he ain't coming in. Okay, that's fine. I have no problem. If he's not going to come for the pay structure, I have no my dreams of getting Osimhen then are now over. I don't want us to be going along the line of paying somebody 300 grand, and it's impossible to sell him. So if that's the case and he's not going to come for that bath time, then I have no problem him not coming. Go and get somebody else, try and find somebody else, or stick with the trash until the summer and get rid of them.
I kind of agree. I think that until we're like maybe Arsenal 2 years ago, where they bottled the title or something. Until we're in that position, I don't think we should be paying anyone over 200k a week because it makes it almost impossible to sell them. Like, and that's the real issue. It's that like if Rashford was on, let's say 120k, 150k,
he'd have so much. We'd have so much offers for him.
Yeah, like, and that's kind of, well, I mean, 150k is kind of roughly, I think, what Rashford is worth, not based fully on his football talent, but on the marketing and the value to the club and all that kind of stuff. But this is why Casemiro is like such a nightmare, and why Eriksen is such a nightmare, because they're on ridiculous wages, and it means that I mean, Saudi Arabia turned up like a sort of shining knight, and even they have only taken Telles from us, and that was by the way, that was the only move to the Saudi league where the selling team didn't profit. We're only the club to have lost money on a transfer to Saudi Arabia.
It's crazy, isn't it? The thing is, I actually think Eriksen's less of an issue than Casemiro, because Eriksen's gone. We've still got
but
Casemiro for another 2
250k,
years.
man.
Yeah, well, that was he was on a free, and to be fair, he did a half decent job. But yeah, 250 is just, it's United. That's what they do, isn't it? They don't come to us because we're good. They come to us because we offer them the most money.
And this is why I'm against Osimhen coming. Like, I mean, like Gyökeres.
Okay.
If Gyökeres is up for 150k a week, I'd prefer that at say 60 million, or like I prefer that at 80 million than say 46 million or whatever it is, 60 million for Osimhen and 400k a week, because we're never going to be. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the fact that I believe Osimhen is a Muslim, and the Saudi Arabian League will always want, like, their dream will be to get a Salah or a Pogba. They'll be looking to always sign the best Muslim player in the world. So maybe there's that that exit route for us. But I don't want to go off maybes because, as Yabba said, like he won the league at Napoli, which hadn't been done since Maradona, and somehow it all fell apart when he should, have murals around the city and things dedicated to him. Like it might not just all be like Napoli being like horrible. He's got to have played some part in it himself. And you put him into Manchester United with Garnacho leaking team news, Rashford drunk. Like, I can't see it working out.
But you say he's a good player.
I think he's a great player.
Okay, you didn't. From my observation, I think he's got something about him. He's tall. He's quite wiry and strong. He scores headers as well. But I've seen one goal where it's like I heard the news. Oh, Osimhen scores a wicked goal, or kind of thing. You know that goal Andy Cole scored against Spurs, where he flicked it over someone's head and then lobbed the keeper.
Yes, I do. I know the one you're talking about.
And Ian Wright also scored a goal like that for Arsenal, where the ball came over, flicked it over someone's head. They'd gone that way, sliding that way, and then lobbed the keeper. Similar goal. That's class, to be able to do that. Omri's done the sort of similar thing. And they said, oh, he scored a brilliant goal. I went and watched the goal, and it looked to me, because he's tall, nothing against tall guys, they can play football, but the ball came over. He kind of flicked it. His first touch, which I think he was trying to control, flicked it over the guy's head, and then he kind of volleyed it from about chest high, which looked really awkward. And I thought, this guy, he's just bullying his Italian defenders. He's not that good. And that's supposed to be his special goal, and I thought it looked more clumsy and an accident more than anything else. I've got my concerns about him as a player. I don't think he's going to be able to bully Premiership defenders like he does Italian defenders. Clearly, I mean, Tammy Abraham went over there. That's a prime thing. Anyone who knows about football should look at Tammy Abraham for Chelsea, struggling to get game, not that effective, goes to Roma, and suddenly he's blowing up over there with his runs. They can't handle him, and his pace, hold-up play. I'm thinking, wow, So Osimhen's question marks severely about his game, and secondly, about his character with the Turkey move and all his accusations that he's coming out with. And I think he's a Nigerian king and a hero already. And when you come from poverty sometimes and you make it so young, sometimes you become a dictator in a way. I feel he's the sort of guy that's to make a decision like that, right, F you guys, and stand up to the authority and all that. That makes him a problem. Some people, he might be a freedom fighter, but he can also be a terrorist in some people's eyes as well. And to me, he's a bit of a terrorist, as in.
Okay.
But you understand what I'm saying? But not as in he's addressed attacking authority and that kind of thing and terrorizing him. And I think no. We don't need players like that. That's what I'm saying. Not calling him.
Right? Who would you like? If you could get one player, like a realistic player, and one that is alive and currently playing, not from the 80s, who would you bring into the team at the moment?
Villa, Duran, or Watkins. I think those two are pretty good. I like Jackson. I think Jackson's done all right at Chelsea. I didn't like him at first, but he's quick. He's watched an interview with him the other day, which really turned me on to him. I thought, wow, you got potential. You've got the right drive about you, So me personally, I look at Ollie Watkins or Duran, who looks like I haven't seen enough of him, but from what I've seen, he looks like, oh, okay, this guy can blow. So yeah, those three.
Mr. B?
I think we need a creative player. I would rather have somebody created. I'd take Palmer over all of them.
I'm talking about
realistic.
I'll talk about Strike. Oh, well, is Jackson?
I thought
he just said Jackson. Jackson's not bloody realistic, is he?
Yeah, I know, but like it's Yabba, isn't it?
Who's alive? He said he's alive. And
Well, I was more thinking about who's playing. I want somebody who creates. I want an unselfish player, somebody who is more interested in creating than scoring. That's somebody who I want to come into. I don't know who that is. I have no idea now. I couldn't think of somebody off the top of my head.
There were two number 10s.
Yeah. I would say Eze. Yeah, because he wants to pass. yeah, I would. That's the sort of player that I think United need. Somebody who is just who will do all of the hard work and just put it on somebody on a plate for somebody. That's what I'm looking for. I would take Eze. Yeah, that would be an ideal player for me.
I think I'd go for two, and they're very. I think people poo-poo them. I saw someone in the chat set, but I love Mateta at Crystal Palace. So
The
he's
forward.
so meat and potatoes. I love it. Um,
Wow.
I think that he's kind of like Hoyland in the way that he plays, and I think he's better at everything than Hoyland. I think he's gettable, and I like him. I like that. I like his pace and his power and stuff like that. And the other one would be Brian Mbeumo, Brentford, like to play on our left wing. I think he's fantastic. His long range running, his engine, like up and down. I think that these are the sort of players that we need to bring in, like before we consider like the Cole Palmers and stuff like that. I think we've got to get really hard-working, physical players in that make us harder to beat and better at defending set pieces. And do people like Mateta? They do. I don't believe this. I thought everyone's Stephanie Griffiths is good. Put it. I thought people would be after players like little weaklings like Mitoma. Well, no, bring me big men like
No,
Mbeumo.
they know. Obviously, they see what we need. I wouldn't have gone for a Matoma personally, but Mateta, that's a surprising one for me. Bath time. To be fair, that's not somebody who I feel would make that much of a difference. But he's hold up play. The ball will definitely stick to him a lot more than it sticks to Hoyland. But I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Or Evan Ferguson, could I tempt you with?
No, they
You want
tried to get him.
Mateta?
They're trying to get him out on loan already. Mateta will probably be cheaper, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'd love a bit of Evan Ferguson. I think he's wonderful.
No, I don't know. He's fallen off a cliff. Well, so maybe that's down to injury, but it's the fact that he can't get back into the team is the part that if he's
Well, it's
that
because
good,
the king is there, Danny Welbeck, who would be. I'd love Danny Welbeck back at the club. I
shouldn't have let him go.
Yeah, shouldn't let him go. But like, I loved it when Ten Hag apparently was trying to get Danny Welbeck back. That would be almost as good as when CR7 came back to the club for me. I love Danny Welbeck so much.
The thing is, we're talking all show about the issues that we have and why we might have to sell some players and all this kind of thing. With the climate and the way it is, even at Man United, and we have to consider finances, I think the strategy going forward long term is to build your youth setup, the academy, make that very good, and we're doing that right now. So I'd also be looking to have an aim to bring in 3 or 4 youth players into the first team in the next couple of years, and it looks that way with some of the quality we got down there. You want strikers, you've got guys banging goals right now, and he just needs to make that transition to the senior team and play senior football. If he can do that, then you've got a class player on your hands, and then beyond that, you've got so many talented players in that youth setup. So I think that's the way forward as well. Going forward, rather than looking for the transfer window, we need to be looking right under our noses in the academy.
I don't know, yeah, but I think that like I understand it's a romantic point and it's one you really like about just getting the players in from the academy and stuff. But I think that they need to. When you look at like what's gone on with Garnacho and to a degree with Mainu, I think that their football education needs loans, the way that Beck's had a loan to Preston, and so on. And I think it's a very.
And Ahmad had a loan spell, didn't he? He went on loan a few times.
Yeah,
that's a good example you put. Yeah,
but I think that like we don't kind of have the time to wait for these players to sort of like to grow. Like ideally, we would get in. I don't know, like someone like Anthony Gordon, for example, a young player, or Elise, like young players that can show that they're capable of being able to form and can also grow a little bit more. And then you sprinkle in like the academy players and see which ones are good, because otherwise I think you put so much pressure on the academy players. And we've seen players like Yannisai, Luke Chadwick, like Makeda, that have all kind of have their moments and things, but maybe we didn't manage them correctly and gave them too many games at the start, and you see where they ended up in their careers.
But
Like,
if we were the club that we were 10 years ago, and we look at the sort of top of the list players we've been looking for over the last few years, we wanted Frankie de Jong. Imagine having him. You just mentioned Elise. If we had him, he was on our radar. If we started with Harry Kane, we could have had those three, for example, if we were the Man United of old. But we're not. So we're getting second-rate players, and we're complaining about them now. But the bottom line is their choice C, D, and E. Whereas if we get the A choice guys, from the start, we'd be in a different position right now. Frankie de Jong playing for us for the last 3 years, that'd be great. Elise as a young, winger instead of Anthony, for example, that'd be fantastic. And then Harry Kane, rather than go to from Spurs to Germany, he'd do what Carrick did and Berbatov did, and just automatically come straight to United.
You're a big fan of Harry Kane.
Well, I think I've never been a great fan of him.
Okay, good.
But he was one of the best strikers in the league, and I would have been happy for him to come to United.
What, and not press?
That would have been solved with his goals.
No,
I'm sure
it wouldn't have been solved with his goals, and this is the problem. You get these players with no legs on 300 grand a week, and then when we burn his arse out after a season, we can't sell him.
I'm talking about 4 or 5 years ago, Harry Kane, not the one we see today.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't have got him 4 or 5 years ago.
But if we were the Man United of old, we probably would have.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think under Ferguson, we would have ended up with Dele Alli and Harry Kane, like after that season. Like I think Ferguson said that Dele Alli was the one that he'd have gone out and got, or at least Mourinho paraphrased it as that. But I'm sort of more with Mr. B, where I think for the moment, like as we're transitioning to new systems and so on, we've got to be looking at physicality, work rate, and so on. This is why I would trust players like Mateta, Anthony Gordon, Elise. Who was the one I said? Mbueno, maybe his mate Visa. Like I'd trust those players more than putting in Facundo Palestri or like Shea Lacey or whatever and sort of super bumping them, because I think you've really got to work on the conditioning of the young players. And I think we've probably been quite responsible with a player like Harry Amas. Like he's obviously going to be pretty good, but he's not physically at the level. So let's sign some players that are physically at the level of the Premier League and build our way into it.
Thanks, Rich Sports. I do remember that, and I stand by it. I've never thought Harry Kane was world class, but he would score. He scores goals in the Premiership. Doesn't mean he's the best player. And Mr. B was about to rip my head off about his pressing. And I do agree with Mr. B. He doesn't do all that, but he scores goals. And I think at the time, 4 or 5 years ago, when we were interested in him, he would have been a better addition to what we had.
Fair enough. Guys, 1 hour 10. Yeah,
Not bad.
We're back tomorrow.
What's going on tomorrow?
At 5 past.
We're back tomorrow at 5 past 10. Set your notification, but we've got our preview tomorrow. Yaba's gonna get me a team. Dora should be on tomorrow as well. She'll get me a team. And obviously Bath Time will get me a team. You lot get your teams up. We'll decide who's the best one, and guaranteed whatever team we pick, nobody's gonna get it right because he's gonna throw a curveball somewhere along the line. So yeah, we will be back tomorrow to preview our game against Plizan?
Victoria Pleasant.
Yeah, Victoria Plizan.
She was huge in the 80s.
What, Victoria Plizan?
Yeah.
Were they called something else?
It's
a joke. Oh shit! So look, sorry, that went straight over my head. Bath Time. Apologies.
Like Martinez.
The newbies that were here, I did see one, and I've completely forgotten your name. I should have started. I think it was James Sweet. Somebody Sweet. I got your name up there. Never seen you before, but welcome to the madness, man. You finally dropped a message, and I hope you have actually hit the subscribe button to join us again tomorrow. But we will be finding out what the opposite of lack of notch is, Bilal. We'll find out what that is tomorrow. And it is lack of notch from me.
Lack of notch from me.
And a lack of notch from me.